Show is.
Heresy, what is schism, what is apostasy. Heresy is denying a revealed truth of the faith, and schism is rejecting the authority of the church, particularly the authority of the Roman pontiff as head of the church. And apostasy is rejecting completely the Christian religion. Now, this relative of yours who's joined the Wiccan religion, he's an apostate, okay? That's a pagan cult that is not a Christian religion. The non-Catholic family members, we would not call them heretics because they did not leave the Catholic faith and then join another sect and believe a false idea. That was done by the founders, say, whether it was Martin Luther, John Calvin, Zwingli, or Hus. Therefore, all the people who came afterwards, who were raised in what we would say inaccurate telling of all the truths of the faith, we as the Catholic Church don't say we're right and they're wrong. We're telling people more precisely we have the fullness of truth and the fullness of grace because we have all seven.
Yes, I suppose. Here. Hey, you! Hey, you in there! That's right, and the Lord leads the ewes with care. One of my favorite Joshua LeBlanc stories is about one of the priests who had mass, and one of the lectors. Lectors are notorious for not always getting the pronunciation of words correctly. I know that might be surprising to you, Jeff, you who try very hard to make sure that you study, and when you have to lecture, But, as it turns out, this particular lector said, I think they were doing the psalm, and said, and you lead the Ewees with care. EWE, the Ewees, not the U, but the Ewees. I guess even the Ewees have to have someone. Kathleen informs us that she's coming in hot. Which I think I would like to, in my head, she's like on a shuttle of some kind, and the heat tiles are burning away as she's re-entering the atmosphere. Oh, that's much better. I can actually hear myself when I turn the volume up. Isn't it? Oh. So she was just, yeah. I wonder if I should turn more. I don't know. That doesn't really. Okay.
Oh my stupid camera's not working right again. I say,
I say.
stand by. I'm gonna have to restart the whole stupid thing. Be right back.
That actually doesn't look bad. Jeff, am I too full in the frame if I'm here? Okay. Too much in frame now. That's right, and I yeah. You got to turn the. She doesn't know about that. That's the one new thing, is the dial for the monitor. She's not getting any monitor. Cause that's new. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you know. These things do up. And we have changed. Oh, let's see. Let me fix the deal here. So is this better? Yeah. I can't be my own cameraman.
I know.
It's true. It's true. Heavens, what a sound! This is what the British population calls an elementary education. Oh, come, sir, I think you picked a poor example. Did I? Hear them down in Soho Square, dropping H's everywhere, speaking English any way they like. Whenever I sing Rex Harrison singing My Fair Lady, I notice that we always get a poor bit rate.
Oh, maybe you shouldn't sing that.
You can't stop me.
Yeah,
The way I see it, you can't stop me.
that's wrong.
Suficiente? I think that's great. Oh, my. I know. I did have a 20-minute nap today.
You know, I took dozed for a few, woke up, dozed a few more.
Mm-hmm. It was like 38 and a half winks. That's like those places that practice corporal punishment. They might, sentence you to 40 lashes, but they only give you 39 to show mercy.
You heard about that group over in
Yep.
Iran that did the happy video?
I did. Was it on the show last week?
Yeah.
No, it was on Wake Up. Because you can actually use copyrighted music.
Just, yeah, and how you doing? Been to Trader Joe's? Yeah, it was a Walmart day for us too.
I did not go to the big box store today.
And better than ever.
Barely. But I'm here.
Father Ryan, are you happy? Oh, he had to restart his situation.
good about my life right now. All right. I think so. As far as I know.
Sing along if you feel like a Jeff Blackwell. I may have made some of those words up. I'm just saying. I've told Father Ryan that you are fixing the deal.
Otherwise engaged.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we got your...
Gadget. It's okay, folks. It's all part of the show.
It's true. Mm-hmm. Do-dee-doo-doo. Yep.
CompuServe and the first online newspapers. CompuServe was first offered to the public on September 24th, 1979. It helped share some of the first online newspapers. You get all of this for just $39.95.
And now
Hello.
I'll eat some raisins.
Hello. Oh,
Hello.
I need.
Here.
I've also
I need-
removed the buzz.
Oh, good for you. I need to go get
Yes.
some snacks myself.
I
Be right
needed
back.
a
Yogurt
shielded
raisins.
cable.
Yogurt raisins.
That's not a thing.
It's
I am hearing a feedback though, Jeff.
Oh, you may want to.
Loop.
Yeah.
I'll need to drop and reestablish it's a Skype issue.
Oh yay. Hello.
hi.
It feels good.
You're not hearing yourself again?
No, everything is delightful now.
That's
all
so
code and kosher.
bizarre because it's like it doesn't do a mix minus when it's supposed to automatically. And, well, anyway. We're here. All is well. And I'm doing the show in black and white on my side tonight. But, you know,
Just
Why?
for funsies?
just, you know, because I'm wearing black and white.
Oh.
Sort of like those priestly guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know any.
No, my shirt is black and white. That's what I'm getting at.
My mind is being boggled by this priestess thing here.
What thing?
The Presonus
Oh, Presonus, yes.
Studio RM.
You took a look at that? Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Cool. Yeah, Father Chris and I
Hi, I'm Father Chris.
and Dave Dawson, we all went out to Presonus this week. And,
Yeah, they've got quite an enterprise going there.
woo.
The Decker was telling me I want to touch these things and play with them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty slick. I mean, 32 ends, 16 auxes,
All with Fat Channel.
all with Fat Channel. Yeah, your
What'd you
outputs.
say about me?
And
Kathleen
Man.
Lee is the
If I'm
Fat
involved,
Channel.
they're going to be fat
Wow.
channels. But that's
what do they call was it the Wheel of Me?
The Wheel of Me. I told Father Ryan about the Wheel of Me. That's a homily waiting to be written.
Love it.
Kathleen
All
would be
right.
all over the Wheel of Me.
Okay.
I run the wheel of me.
Uh-oh, I think Father Ryan is frozen.
No, I'm here.
No, the
Jeffrey.
picture is frozen.
Big on.
Oh, golly. I must hang up and... Oh, no, there. Wait, it reestablished itself again.
If it makes you feel any better, it's
But-
us. It's not him.
Oh, it is.
Come on. Sharpen up a little bit here. It's a bit fuzzy, a bit pixely, but it's...
I got to get married
It's
first.
a
Coming
big
around.
fatuous. It's got a
it-
lot of stuff.
What's that? Oh, the Presonus.
Yeah.
Notice they pronounce their company name differently.
No, I didn't.
How did he
Do they say
pronounce it?
I'll say it like with a long O, sonus,
I think he said Presonus.
personas.
I said Precinus, but I guess that's not right either.
No, you're a prisoner of your own bad pronunciation.
No, I'm a prisoner of my Latin pronunciation.
Indeed, aren't we all?
It created
Okay.
the world.
Can you see how fuzzy that his image looks, Father Chris? You probably can't see that, can you? It was sharp as a tack earlier.
Oh, again, that's our fault. Well, it's not our fault. It's because of our bandwidth that he's having issues.
I really want one of these giant mixers just to have.
Where
Those are
would you
coming
put
down.
it?
The active integration technology is where it's happening.
Yeah, it is.
And so, in fact, they told us that in, I think, October, they're going to have a price drop on that 32 AI, and it's going to be like $34.95. It's been right at $4,000, a little over 42, something like that.
When I was working with Mark Dubrock in Alexandria doing his capture for bands and stuff, he would do the mastering, but I would do the capture. We were using all that kind of the AI stuff from Yamaha at the time.
Yeah.
And it was 32 channels of control surface, but it was a 128 channel board.
Yep.
And so we really, unless I was capturing drums, I didn't need to use more than a couple channels. But for mastering, he needed all that stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Man, I had one of those. What was the model number of that Yamaha?
I have no memory
Oh,
of that
okay.
piece of information.
I can't remember either. But I'm such an analog dog, and I went to a place. Now, mind you, there were 3 wireless mics, monitors, and a piano, and they had it on this 96 channel Yamaha, and of course, you know, what was weird is like the mics were on one layer. You have to go to another layer to get to the piano, and then a third layer to get to the reverb, because they wanted a little reverb with their voices. And it's like if I can't see it and touch it, it makes me nervous, which is what I really like about this RM series, because when it displays, it's all right there. You don't have to go through menus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, was that
Nothing.
Sorry, no, you're doing fine.
yakking?
Go ahead.
Too much? Okay.
Kathleen
On the
was just
highway.
asking who was back there
It's Mary Kate.
or up there.
Woo woo.
So, Father, you had Father Ryan. That is, can you tilt down a little bit? You when you first start.
I think that's as far as we can go.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
I can sit up a little bit more. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
I'm kind of slumped.
Yeah,
Do you
When
need
I
a
sit up,
pillow?
I'll actually be doing that.
Do you want to sit on a little pillow?
Can we get the priest of
solemnly assure
booster,
you a
please?
little pillow is going to have no effect on my height. If I go
Okay.
actually, when the former pastor here used to have a full-on couch cushion that he put into the presider's chair, and it would give him an extra 6 inches because it was this big overstuffed
Wow.
cushion. He would sit on it. It was,
Was it one of those that would go
no, he tried leather, but it was a bad
at
decision
the
for
chapel in
that
the
reason.
diocese?
So he opted out and went for a plush one.
At the chapel at the diocese, we have a series of cushions that are filled with air, and so whenever you sit, they go.
Yeah. Yes.
Of course, this is also where the TV mast originates from. So every now and then, because they have
man.
these mics wide open all over the place, you hear.
All you need is a knife. You know, got some slits in those things, and that'll stop that business. So, I want you, whenever Mary Kate, when you punch up Father Chris or Kathleen,
What?
well, that looks okay. Okay, well, maybe I can zoom out a little bit on Kathleen, or zoom in a little bit on Father Chris. What do you think, Father Chris?
Whatever you do, Jeff, will be goo.
Whatever
I'm going
you
to
do,
fix
you
that
do.
right now.
You do what you do, boo.
I'm just
Negative.
eating these here almonds. And I'll probably
Jeff,
choke
I
at
did
the
want to
top of the
mention to
show.
you that at the under where it has the "See You Later" earlier, which I'm actually dumping because we're not doing that anymore.
Yep.
Under the last sign off, I've got a block there of pre-planned shows,
Oh yeah.
and they're not written in stone, but they're just going to be bullet points of stuff we're talking about. So
Okay.
I'll be able to cut and paste, but that also, if we want to make the preload,
Oh, lovely.
whatchamacallit,
Yes.
you should be able to do basically that.
Okay. Well, I'll once Jeff gets back on his headphoningtons, you can say it again.
You explain it. You explain that. Just tell them what you.
I'll
need.
just tell him what you told me.
Yeah, it's great.
Sit properly in my chair.
Punch up, Kathleen.
Watch out for cat food. It'll sneak up on you.
Meow.
Is that a nickname for Kathleen? Cat food?
Why you gotta call me a fat channel and talk about food today?
Cat food.
I've been working on
He
it.
didn't talk about the food. He's talking about you a cat food.
I did a 5K this week.
You did.
What's up?
Did you eat cat food after it?
Hey, Jeff, can you?
I wouldn't eat cat food if you paid me.
They actually do have people who they
I
pay
like
to eat cat
I like
food.
to see myself. Thank you. Oh, vanities of vanities.
Says Keheleth.
Says Koheleth.
Oh boy, we had an interesting pronunciation of Keheleth at Daily Mass. I'm trying to remember what they said. It was one of those where I don't know how to pronounce this, so I'm just going to say all the letters at the same time.
Yeah, there was a lady in my parish who used to do that with Nebuchadnezzar.
Mm-hmm.
And it just eventually came out as Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah, Nemzer.
Nebuchadnezzar.
You do know there are more syllables there. Of course, in the old Latin, it was Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah. What is the one who was that son of the prophet Jeremiah, whose name means quick booty, speedy spoil?
Maal Hayar Hashbaz.
Yeah.
What?
That's my favorite.
I got that one right on the test.
Good.
I always say Mary's name in the Eastern way, Kakari Tomene, because it just sounds more impressive. It also is prettier. But Hashmaz, I never get right.
Spazzy
Spazzy
McSpoils.
peanut butter. I never get his name right.
Okay, so
Rich, Taj
I'm
Mahal.
back here.
You back?
On the rundown,
Ryan, yes.
if you scroll past the show
Yes.
into the zone of the pre-planned shows, we can do your episodics. You see?
Yes. And really, all I need is like a little 15-second blurb from you two. Because I have a donut, open, close.
Do you remember what the donut says?
Yeah, it's like, it'll be like Father Chris Decker and Father Ryan Humphreys.
Are generally awesome. Here's what they have to say.
Yeah, on the next Catholic Underground. I can find it and even play it if you'd like, if we have time.
Okay.
See you weekly. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong clock. Okay, never mind.
Well, 6 minutes. By 6 minutes, I mean like 5.
Yes, I understand.
By 5, I mean none at all.
Yeah, it's space minutes.
David. Oh, where are they? Oh, maybe I put it in here. Oh,
Ryan Humphreys bring
yeah. All right, wait.
Brings you things.
Father Chris Decker and Father Ryan Humphreys bring you the latest technology on the next Catholic Underground.
Come on.
Journey to the digital continent on Catholic Underground.
Where
Live on
Kathleen is
Sunday at
chopped
7
liver.
p.m.
I
Replay
think
the-
you may have left some people out of that one. Time to cut a new radio spot. Whoa, you muted me.
Well, I had to turn you down. You're blowing me out here. I didn't say anything about me either, and that's not my voice. So take that. Gee whiz. We got a diva on the CU.
She's the one who has to see her own picture. You should know by now.
Well, there's something about cat food.
Cat channel.
Cat fancy.
I'll just pick
I
up
think
one,
we
you
know
know,
what
for the
somebody's
wife.
getting for their Christmas present.
What? Oh, you
A
better not.
12-year subscription to Cat Fancy.
12 years. And when I move, it follows me. How does he know?
How does it know? It's a clock. It doesn't have magical powers.
It's like my friend Joan. She gets a phone call every week for Glenn Jurassic. and it's an automated phone call. This message is for Glenn Jurassic.
That can't be a real name.
If this is
No.
Glenn Jurassic, please call.
I used to get that for Father Bob Garrion. It would be a call saying, "We have an issue with your insurance papers." And I'm going, "No, I just
All
don't
of
care."
them?
Well, I mean, this would happen twice every week. And so eventually I called them and said, look, he doesn't live here anymore. But when I called, it
They
was,
hassle you
thank you
instead.
for calling. Your wait time is 2 hours. And I was like, negative, Ghost Rider. There's
Pattern
no
too
way I'm
full.
waiting 2 hours to tell somebody to stop calling.
The pattern is too full.
I'm going to buzz the tower. It's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Increase the Flash Gordon noise and put more science stuff around.
I do love some Flash Gordon noise.
Father, pray the prayers quickly for us.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, thank you so much for all the gifts you give us through Catholic Underground and for all the blessings you've brought about through this apostolate over the course of the last 8 years. We pray you'd send your blessing upon this evening, that you would protect us from all harm, that you would send your holy angels, including St. Michael, whose feast is tomorrow, to make a way for us in the hearts and minds of all who will listen to this show live and those who will listen to it in a recorded fashion. We pray you bless us this evening, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen.
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 We'll see you on the flip side.
You got your thing hooked up, or are we going to use it? We should.
If I could get her hooked up fast.
All right. Okay. Good.
Quickly now.
Get to it.
Uh-oh.
No, we won't because there's no
fine.
power.
She did.
Sanctuary of hospitality, hope, and healing. Located just 1 block from the Magazine Street dining and shopping corridor, the shrine of this 19th century priest and modern-day powerful intercessor is located in Louisiana's oldest German Catholic church, the Redemptorist Church of St. Mary.
So just take a pause, and I can insert that.
Really, we may have power by the time we get to the pick of the week.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
p.m. We're at 919 Josephine Street in the Lower Garden District of New Orleans. Why not plan a spiritual pilgrimage? Please call us at 504-525-2495. That's 504-525-2495. Or visit us online at celos.org. Y'all come.
Catholic Community Radio can't happen without your spiritual support, but we're also praying for you. Call our prayer force today, and we'll add your prayers to our growing teams of rosary groups, Eucharistic adorers, and small faith communities. 225-341-2720.
Lisa Flood and Susie McKenzie bring you stories of conversion and reversion to the Catholic faith on the next Kingdom Road.
But we need to put aside our agendas and our petition lists and our problems, and we just need to be in the presence of God, because we need to get away from what we're typically thinking about and allow God to speak to us in a different way.
Don't miss Kingdom Road on Monday at 3:30 here on Catholic Community Radio.
Hey gang, this is Father Chris Decker. Keep your feet propped up or your hands on the wheel. You're listening to Baton Rouge's first and only Catholic radio station, WPYR AM 1380.
Request prayer. Find out what's going on. Donate securely.
CatholicCommunityRadio.org.
CatholicCommunityRadio.org. WPYR.
Baton Rouge.
Catholic Radio.
For your community.
From the Catholic Underground.
Today on the show, swiping your card the new old-fashioned way, afraid of being against things, what's a divorcee to do at church, our picks of the week, so much more. The Catholic Underground starts right now. From 20 minutes into the future, it is time for the Catholic Underground, your weekly Catholic guide to the digital continent. It's episode number 276. I am your humble host, Father Chris Decker. If you are listening live, you can join us at CatholicUnderground.tv and get your chat on with us. Joining me this week, as they always do, from 10 minutes in the past, Father Ryan Humphreys, the rector of the Minor Basilica of the Immaculate Conception in historic Natchitoches, Louisiana. Hello, Father. And you, try again, Father.
Hello, future.
There it is. That's all right.
He was
Because
stuck.
it's 10 seconds in the 10 minutes in the past, you know, you have to adjust for pi.
Yeah.
Also, Kathleen Lee, the campus minister at St. Michael the Archangel High School in Baton Rouge, and she is our fully licensed faith ninja. Hello, Kathleen.
Well, hi there.
Also, we've got Jeff Blackwell. He's the technical director of the CU. He's the commandant of the Jeff Star 1 near-Earth orbit satellite. Hello,
So I
Jeff.
told him there's no way I'm doing that. Okay. So when do we get started?
Yeah, about 10 minutes into the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to be here, Father.
Good to be with you, Jeff. And, of course, we've got Mary Kate, who is back on the video feed.
Yay!
That's right. Absolutely.
She lives.
She lives. She lives. We thought she was
Frodo
dead,
lives.
but she lives. That's right. Frodo does live. Are we calling her Frodo? Is that a thing now? Are we doing that?
No, but that was what they said in the 60s.
Indeed.
Frodo lives.
Yeah. They also said I Grok Spock, but we're not going to say that either. I don't know. Anyway,
No one knows what that means.
so exactly, except Bio Trimble. Amazon has launched a portable payment system to compete with Square. Now, are you familiar, Kathleen, with the Square Reader?
I am. Shocking, I know. I know the Square.
I've got one in my book sack. Remember we talked about this last week about how the things you should have in your book sack?
Yep.
Yeah, he's always packing.
In fact, I had it downloaded on my phone for a while because I was.
I have my Square Reader. It's this little itty bitty square thing, and it fits in your phone. Oh look! Oh wait! I've been looking for that. This is my other headphone, earbud.
Oh.
Anyway, so it fits on your phone, and you can slide a credit card through it.
Yes.
PayPal also has one. Well, now Amazon.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of old news now, but Amazon has launched a portable payment system to compete with Square. And it's really kind of cool. The reason I keep the Square Reader in my book sack is, say, for example, somebody wants to make a donation to Catholic Underground.
Mm-hmm.
We can do that. And they just slide their card.
That's
Say
covered.
somebody wants to make a donation to me, the Father Chris Decker Fund for Father Chris Decker's personal advancement. They can do that too. Or if you have a product or a service, like say Jeff was charging for, I don't know, using his voice to record voiceovers. Just you run that through, and there it goes right into your bank account.
I like that.
That gives you 20 minutes of conversation with Jeff, and then when you get done, you have to swipe again.
For 20 more minutes of conversation
Yeah.
with Jeff Blackwell.
Oh, my.
Yeah. So, Father, are we all over this this portable payment system from Amazon? Because they all kind of do the same thing, right?
Yeah, there's not a dramatic difference between what exactly the way Amazon works and the way Square works. The big difference, though, is that some people have Square accounts, but everybody in the world has an Amazon account, and it's got some specific features that make it a little bit better than Square. And also, while Square may or may not come and go, and PayPal may or may not be acquired, you have the sense that Jeff Bezos is always going to be somewhere.
Yeah.
And so there's just a sense of it's a nice large thing. Now the fee is also a little bit smaller, but
That's how
it's
they
just an interesting
undercut.
thing to do. And of course, I have a gift shop, and as we move more and more toward parishes, people wanting to make online contributions like this, you're really kind of almost wanting an usher to have a phone. They just swipe the amount and go. You can see that being in the not too distant future. This becomes something. It's just nice to have more options in the field.
Imagine how long the offertory would be if we had whole lot of swiping going on in the pew.
But if you had the usher before Mass,
Oh well, sure, yeah, this would be.
yeah,
right.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
And then now I've heard of this happening with parishes that practice this online model of stewardship. Would they then, in the narthex of the church, swipe your card to get the offering that you wish to make, and then you give them like a little ticket or something that they would put in the offertory basket?
Well, I'm very seriously thinking about doing a little postcard size thing, or slightly
Yeah.
smaller,
Yeah.
where that has a QR code on it and a URL, and they can go to that on their phone and make whatever contribution they want, and then just write the amount in, so they have something physically to put in the
Right.
collection basket.
Exactly. So that you still are performing the important ritual act of placing something that is then carried unto the altar.
And you're performing the important act of not being embarrassed when the basket walks by, and you just kind of try not to make eye contact.
There's that too. No, not
Yeah.
me. No.
I put something in. I promise. That was the other hand. I guess.
Ken said in the chat room, he says, put one on the end of each pew. Just little bleep. There you go. Please scan your card again. Somebody's card is not working.
With the new iPhone 6, I desperately want to have one of those cool little kiosk deals where you just kind of at the back of the church,
Yeah.
beep, just touch your phone to the device. That would be so awesome.
Yeah. Have you noticed that practically every store has a credit card swiper that they secretly switched out to a sleeker one that I was wondering why all of a sudden went to these new Verifone things. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's because it's near field communication capable.
Well, what I'm really wondering is my iPhone will be in Tuesday. Thank you, Jesus. So I'll have it for Italy.
Jesus
and
had
I
nothing
don't
to
know
do with it.
if it's going to qualify to do European payments or not.
Oh, right. I
Because
doubt
chip
it.
and pin is all over Europe.
Yeah.
Everybody's using chip and pin.
Everyone.
But I don't know if this will do that.
My hunch is you're still going to want to bring
Oh, I'm going to bring credit
a
cards.
physical plastic card.
But I just
Cash-
want to know if
cash
I can
money.
actually use Apple Pay in the Europe.
Father Ryan, I appreciate what you're doing, but it's not going to work.
But I want to try.
Well, you
I
can
want to
try.
get screamed at by an Italian in a green jacket who says, "No, no, 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 no,
I
no,
guarantee
no,
you,
you
Father,
cannot
that
use,
will
no menu.
happen.
No, 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 it's impossible."
That will happen at some point. I live, whenever Father Ryan and I travel overseas, which has only been the one time that I'm aware of.
Didn't we go another time?
Didn't we?
I thought we were going to go again in a week or
totally.
a month. So
Yeah.
there you go.
But Father Ryan manages to get Europeans angry at him.
Oh, yes.
It's kind of a charism.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I've been screamed at twice in St. Peter's by guys in those Masters jackets, those green.
Meanwhile, I get coffee and biscuit. Yeah.
Well, what are they going to do? They screamed at me, but what are they going to do? You know.
Probably nothing. Clayton in the chat room says, strange fact, you can buy a pill case shaped like a square. It clips onto your smartphone, and nobody knows why. Yeah.
Wow.
Because it's handy. You never know.
You never know when you need your meds.
Yeah. Or you could put the breath mint in there,
Oh, yes.
you know.
Oh, get one of those green tea breath mints. Those are yummy.
What? Oh, that's not normal.
From the Trader
No,
Joe's?
they're awesome.
Really?
Yeah, you can get them at the Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
They're
That'd be why I
little
don't
round
go.
boxes that make them look more pretentious and expensive, but they're
Oh.
little mints that taste like green tea.
But I don't like the taste of green tea. I just drink it for the nutrients.
Well, then I would expect that you wouldn't want to buy them.
That's true.
But I thoroughly enjoy it. They're delightful.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. If you're still watching or listening, it's
We
the Catholic
devolved a little
Underground.
quick one to see you later there.
Yeah, my
8
goodness.
minutes into the show.
But by the way, we're on the air right now live. If you're in your home or in your car and you're still listening, this is actually a show that we do.
It happens.
It's true. You are listening to the Catholic Underground. We are online at CatholicUnderground.tv. I'm Father Chris Decker, joined by Father Ryan Humphreys over Skype. Jeff Blackwell and Kathleen Lee join us, as they always do. Our picks of the week are coming up a little bit later. But first, I think it's time we moved on to the next topic. Monsignor Charles Pope, who is in the Archdiocese of Washington. Is that correct?
He is.
That's
yes.
right. He has a great post on our social fear of being against things. And this seems to be something that is more and more prevalent in our society. Whenever somebody stands up, usually on YouTube or Facebook, and says, I am not for this, it usually incites a riot of some kind, at least a flame war in a comm box.
Yep.
Well, right, because people nowadays don't know how to be disagreed with. You know, they get very, very upset. And so Monsignor Pope's argument is simple enough that people prefer to be thought of as for something rather than against something. But we're a fad-worshiping society, and so people also want to be thought of as into or in favor of whatever's new and hip. And so as the world gets more and more messed up, there's a lot of things that we simply have to be against as Christians and as, frankly, as people who are not insane. And so, you know, and this is not just Christians. Mashable, the very non-Christian website, has been recognizing a phenomenon of people who are self-censoring their opinions when they find that they don't agree with the predominant majority opinion. They just don't want to get into it. And if they can't say I'm for something, they simply don't want to get involved at all. You know?
I tend to be guilty of that.
That's right. Yeah, and so even Bill Crazy Pants Mayer is asking whether the people who are perceived as enlightened have brains in their head because they refuse to stand up. They're censoring themselves on things like Islam. And so, for example, it's better marketing to be pro-life than to be anti-abortion. And that marketing has actually created this kind of silly effort to explain pro-life as something more substantial than anti-abortion, which it is, but at the same time, the whole purpose of the movement is to stop legalized abortion.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about trying to fit everything into one kind of obscure banner. And you have the same thing with, like, you know, well, I want to be pro-traditional marriage, but you can be in favor of regular marriage and then be in favor of unnatural marriage at the same time. So, you know, the hardest thing for us to remember is that Jesus was against a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
and not in favor of something else, but against this, saying this is wrong. And so it becomes a difficult place for us to be, where the world doesn't want anybody to be against anything.
Yeah.
And yet we have kind of a moral obligation in some cases to say, no, I may be for all manner of things, but abortion is wrong. Contraception is wrong. Unnatural marriage is wrong. And then you kind of get into a situation where you say, I'm sorry, I'm for a bunch of stuff, but in this case, I'm against something you're for. And if you can't handle that, well, then we're just going to have to disagree.
Yeah, and one of the things that happens very often is, especially I know when we speak about the priesthood, Father Ryan, is part of our professional job is to be against things that are morally wrong, to be against things that are sinful, to be against things that do not point towards Jesus Christ. And while I may not get into those arguments online because, well, frankly, I don't have time to sit in front of a computer and defend myself all day long, or defend the church for that matter, I will do that in a parish setting. Certainly. The homily is a good example to say, well, this is Catholics. We are against this. We are against this. And then to suffer the repercussions of that, because I know it's hard to believe, and Kathleen, I know you probably have never experienced this before, but even in a church community, we're called to be of one mind and one heart, which is the same that was in Christ Jesus, Philippians 2, but yet we are not. And so when a priest stands up, or a teacher for that matter stands up and says, no, we are against this, you're very often met with at least some askance looks.
Yeah. I think there's a disconnect. Like every time I say, hey, I'm against abortion, well, obviously I hate pregnant women.
Right.
Or, every time I say, well, I'm against, the act of homosexuality, well, then I hate
all of those who have same-sex attraction.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute.
That's right.
It doesn't mean that I hate anybody.
Right.
It just means that there are things that I can't be for, that I can't agree with.
Yeah.
And so I think that when we start to learn that, we could disagree with what each other do.
Yeah.
But we still love the person. Things might get a little bit clearer.
And that's really the concept is, I think we do not understand what these mean love. We don't know what love means anymore. And so we tend to make a hard line that love is this, hate is this. Yeah. If you do not condone, you do not love. Right? Because who am I to judge is the phrase that's often levied around, And you can't judge anybody. Don't just be tolerant of them. And if you are not tolerant of them, wherever they find themselves, if you don't agree with it, then you must hate them. And that's really not what we believe as Christians. It's certainly not what we believe, but sometimes we get painted in that either or. But there's more to it than either or, isn't there, Father?
Yeah, I mean, the thing I always think about when it comes to love is I always say, let's look at the works of mercy that are there in the Scripture. And once we start talking about the spiritual and corporal works of mercy,
sure,
and we start talking about John 15:14, and we start talking about there's no greater love than that a man lay down his life for his friends. And then, of course, when we climb into those spiritual works of mercy and we get to number 3, everybody starts getting nauseated and eye contact starts going away, because the spiritual works of mercy are to instruct the ignorant. Well, that's not that hard. To counsel the doubtful, that's not really all that tough. If we skip number 3, it's to say, okay, well, we bear wrongs patiently. That's a little harder. Forgive offenses. That's a little harder still. To comfort the afflicted, we can do that. Pray for the living and the dead. Okay, any of those we can do, but number 3 is to admonish sinners. And so if I believe someone is doing something that's going to put their soul in peril, then I've got a moral obligation to go up to them and challenge and admonish them.
Yeah.
And that's real love. And boy, people do not like that.
Yeah. And as priests, sometimes the place that we are kind of forced into doing it is during the celebration of the liturgy. I mean, how many times as priests have we had to correct a behavior? Certainly in charity and in love, but the way that it's presented is right there, I've had to instruct people in the communion line. I've had to instruct people as the opening hymn is beginning, and I should be walking up the aisle, processing in for Mass. I certainly have to instruct the people from the ambo. That's part of what a priest does. But it's like anytime you have to address something in terms of this is my job as a priest, is to be concerned about your soul. It's often met with reaction. outright reaction. How dare you? You know.
Yeah.
And that's tough. It's tough. I know, Jeff. As a quote unquote new Catholic, you joined. You reconnected with your Catholic roots, huh? In 1990, and
Yes.
part of what we must do as Catholics is stand up for what we believe.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes that means that you're going to be. Would you say that you were shunned by people whenever you stood up and said, "I'm a Catholic"?
I was, but it was mainly because people in my past, my friends,
In your
who
former
were
ecclesial
Protestant.
community,
There
yeah.
you go. That's what. Yeah, I love the way you put it. But yeah, and it is difficult because they don't understand. And I had one gentleman, for example, got into really it got heated at one point.
Yeah.
Which I have learned since it's better just to say, listen, I'll find out more details when I can talk about it in a calm fashion and get back to you.
Yeah.
But he was just going like, well, you know, Mary went on to have kids and stuff. It says so in the Bible. And it's like, okay, even if that was true, does that make her any less of a virgin when she had Jesus?
Right.
And
there are all sorts of divine revelation things
yeah,
that we have
so-
to agree on. Yeah.
But anyway, I got off point there. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I had some folks who were not happy. But I finally found what I was looking for. Is basically the only way I can put it.
Yeah, and that's a beautiful thing. And when we in the church have found the pearl of great price, we sell all that we have, even our own reputations, you know, and we buy it. We do, and that's the beautiful thing. Yes. So let us know what you think, certainly, about being anti things, right? About being against things. Backchat at CatholicUnderground.com is the place to do that, and you can join people in the chat room who are certainly talking about this as well. Taylor in the chat room says, there are many times when I say I'm against abortion or against same-sex marriage, and the response I get is that I can't call myself, I shouldn't call myself a Christian. And again, that's certainly is contradictory, you know. Or she says, I'll get told that because you're a Catholic and Catholics hate all non-Catholics and people living by non-Catholic standards. Well, that bespeaks that there's a standard, you know.
That's a good point.
Who determines the standard?
Yeah.
And if I am the standard bearer in myself, then naturally, whenever something is absolutely not right, I have to determine what that is myself. So
that's what would Jesus do, Brace, would drive me bonkers. You know, because the idea is nice. Okay, sure, Jesus is over your shoulder, but at the same time, how arrogant do you have to be to say, I know what Jesus would do?
Yes.
I mean, that's tough. You know, I mean, as a Catholic theologian, as a priest, I rarely, if ever, have to extrapolate and say, I wonder what Jesus would say in this, because the church has said it, not me. And so I look and say, well, the church says no to contraception. The church says no to this, that, or the other. You know, and people go, well, you think this? I say, this is not me talking. This is me translating what the church says, but I'll show you in the catechism where this is what we believe.
Right.
But this is not me coming up with some brilliant idea. And the idea that somebody walking around with a little yellow bracelet on their arm somehow magically knows how Jesus Christ would react in any given situation with no training, no instruction, no catechism to work from, yikes. That's the kind of narcissism that even I can't pull off, and I'm incredibly arrogant.
But Father Ryan, isn't the catechism a man's interpretation that's not the divinely inspired word from God?
He's baiting you, Father. He's baiting you.
No, because I've heard this before.
In Catechesi Tradendae, Pope John Paul II, and in the other document where he specifically promulgated it, made it very clear that this is it's an expression, so it is not an infallible expression of the Church's teaching, but that which is expressed is itself the result of the magisterium acting, you know, in its definitive way. And so it is not infallible teaching, but it is definitive teaching. And so theoretically, someone could come later on and say, okay, yeah, the wording of this is not really as sharp as we want it to be. But in terms of what the church teaches in any one of those topics, that's what we believe.
There you go.
Ken in the chat room has the Jesus prayer on a wristband. That's really
much
cool.
better.
Lord Jesus Christ, Son of David, have mercy on me, a sinner.
I like that much better.
That is a wristband worthy of wearing. Because it's very definitive. It says exactly what Jesus would do.
It's just a lot of letters.
That's right. It's a lot. It's a lot.
LJCSG.
That's right. At any rate, it's Catholic Underground. Oh, I had music, but it's gone now. Oh well.
Oh, you okay?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff.
Yes.
We're still on a live radio program, if you can believe
Believe it or
It is
not.
a live radio program.
Yay.
And you know how it's live? Because we can do this. Yeah, it's the Catholic Underground. What's the matter, Father? Another wheel coming off over there? Clap if you can't whistle. We are one big inside joke, and we call ourselves the Catholic Underground. I'm Father Chris Decker. Joining us, Father Ryan Humphreys on Skype. We've got Kathleen Lee, who sits to my left, which is your right. We've also got Jeff Blackwell.
Who's
And
goofing up tonight?
It's all right. Actually, in all truth, I didn't give Jeff the high sign. Like in my brain, I thought.
And I've been
had.
distracted. I got a computer that's got some problems over here to the side. So
That's
there
true.
we've confessed.
Yeah, that's right. Te absolvo. At any rate, we're going to move on with this cavalcade, this wagon train to the stars. Liturgical impoverishment. If you can imagine, a poorness in the liturgy is a major detriment for the divorced and remarried. And we're not just talking about the Mass here, right, Father?
Right, and this is something I read this article some months, maybe a month ago, and I looked at it. I said, "Well, this is just crazy talk. This is another, just super traditional person, Father William Oddie over there in the UK." And I read it, and I went, "By God, he's on to something." Father Oddie is a British priest who has the same name as Bill Oddie, the comedian, but is not the same person. I got that confused too. But he realized two entirely obvious things and put these two obvious things together. First, people who are divorced and remarried, not divorced, who are both divorced and remarried civilly are in a state of public sin and cannot receive Holy Communion because in the eyes of the church, you're still married to the first person, so you can't receive Holy Communion. That's obvious to everybody. Second, since Vatican II, the church doesn't really do anything prayerful that doesn't involve Mass, at least nothing officially. There are a couple of prayer syndicals. You might have a charismatic prayer group. There might be a rosary group. But I mean, in the church, in a public way,
yeah, a good example of this might be whenever people say, "Father, can we have a Mass for such and such?" And it's, perhaps a little obscure group or something of that nature. There's no sense of, can we do morning or evening prayer, but can we have a special Mass just for this particular event?
Exactly. And that hasn't been the case for a long time. But Father Oddie, the duh moment here is in the two-part question, well, why did we stop doing all that prayerful stuff that doesn't involve Holy Communion and therefore doesn't alienate all the people who can't receive Holy Communion, which is not just divorced and remarried, but it's non-Catholics.
Yeah.
It's people who are considering becoming Catholics. It's people who have an eating disorder and have to eat every 4 minutes and can't fast before communion. It's all kinds of people.
Yeah.
And he said, well, why can't we start doing those things again? And those things include, as you mentioned, Father, morning prayer, the Liturgy of the Hours, or Vespers, as we call them, evening prayer, novenas in the church, preached novenas, parish missions, processions, holy hours, any number of these kind of traditional activities that had been done, some on the small scale and some on quite the large scale, that were an ordinary part of our parish life in the United States for a long time, and yet now are completely abandoned in favor of either Mass or, if Father's not available, a liturgy of the Word, which makes people feel awkward because it's basically the Mass but without the Mass. And so people look and go, well, I'm kind of getting gypped here. It'd be better if we got the Mass. And so, Father's point is basically, because we've taken away all this liturgical stuff that is not Mass, we've basically left every service someone can go to as making people who cannot receive communion feel alienated and offended and not part of the community, which is simply not the case. But it's a heck of a strong point.
Yeah, it's kind of an outcropping of what Taylor said in the chat room. You're Catholic, and Catholics hate all non-Catholics and people living by non-Catholic standards. Well, absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's not what we believe, But I think whenever we make the Mass, in a sense, an exclusive thing, because it is an exclusive thing to who we are as Catholics, you must fully understand the fullness before you can really begin to receive every amount of grace that God wants to give you in that moment that is the Mass. And so there are all of these other ancillary things that point to that are accessible by all, and even points of contact by all, And I often wonder that myself. You know, Father, whenever you and I were in the seminary, we had many a class that tried to get to the bottom of what the diocesan priest's spirituality is. What is the spirituality of a priest in a diocese in a parish and not a priest who's a monk in a monastery somewhere? And to me, it would seem like this is really kind of part of the core, not only of the identity of the laity as Catholics, but also our identity as priests as well.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I also think that it's such a big part of the question because priests are walking a pretty fine line. I mean, we've got to defend and protect the sacraments. We've got to follow the law of the church. Yeah. But we also have all these sheep that we want to see brought into the fold. We want people to be brought back. And in some cases, it's not possible to do that with an annulment, and it's not possible to do that in an easy way. And so we've got to start thinking, well, what more does the church offer? And I used to have a former bishop of this diocese, who used to say we can never be narrower than the church nor wider than the church. Right. And so we look around and we say, well, what does the law of the church allow? What does the sacraments of the church allow that can make people who are not able to receive communion feel like they're part of the show? Yeah. And there's a lot of good ways to do that, and unfortunately we just have kind of shut off the pipe on those. And you know, I have to add too, Father, because this is just one of my pet peeves, the idea of row by row communion drives me bonkers, because I remember as a layperson when I would be unable to receive communion, maybe I came in late and I'd eaten breakfast or something like that, when the row by row communion starts going, if I don't receive communion, everybody's looking, going, what did that guy do?
You get the stare. We all know the stare.
And so when we get this kind of this habit of row by row communion, and everybody feels like this push to go out, it creates this kind of sense of like with the collection envelope before, there's a sense of embarrassment where it should be a sense of generosity, not a sense of embarrassment. You know, and of course the way they do it in Rome, the joke is, you know, for those who haven't been to Rome, the joke is when it comes time for communion, you grab a veil and hold on for dear life. You just grab on a nun and you just go, and she drags you to wherever communion's happening. It's true. Because it's certainly not at the front of the church. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's chaos.
Yeah. So what would be the alternative to the row by row? Just kind of everybody getting up at once and figuring out where the communion station is?
Well, I think that we could do it with even if just the ushers went away. Yeah. You know, just the ushers go away, as I'm very seriously considering this in my parish, saying we're not going to do row by row. You come forward as you're ready. If you want to take an extra moment of prayer, do that. If you feel like you want to be first in line, go ahead and come along. Be courteous and polite, and we're going to have the usual communion stations at the front, but we're not going to do this, you know, the usher staring down going, come on, come on, come on, come on. You know, that's got to go. You know, I just think it's a dangerous precedent. We've got into this kind of very mechanical mindset, and that's taken charity away, and it's taken the volition away, and it's replaced it with a sense of this is what we do. This is our tradition, and it bears fruit in the kind of idiocy of, well, we're all going to stand together after communion as an act of intimacy or act of unity or something like that. It's such a distortion of what the church's mind is when it comes to being a part of a community.
Yeah, I mean, Kathleen, you're in a parish from week to week, and you know, I mean, because we know the people with whom we go to Mass. Right. And, you know, I would imagine there are probably some people who for one reason or another, maybe there's an annulment pending, maybe they, who knows, any number of cases where they can't receive Holy Communion. What are some of your thoughts?
I think it definitely takes real courage to not go, you know, to sit and stay. Yeah. But I've also been in like foreign countries, in Latin America, they do this a lot, where everybody goes to communion. Yeah, and same time. It's awesome because I think that a lot of times in church, and you know, it's kind of what we've been talking about. Just the idea of efficiency overrules the idea of
I right with the Lord?
Yeah, of liturgy and rightness. And so, you know, I have a lot of liturgical. You know, just because I'm friends with a lot of priests who do it well. You know, whenever I feel rushed through Mass. You know, when it comes to that, everybody get up, everybody walk, everybody, you know, it loses a lot of its sacredness, I think. So I agree with Father Ryan.
Yeah, and of course, in a perfect world, we wouldn't be constrained, and this is one of the things you certainly get in Italy, we wouldn't be constrained to just an hour. Father, if you're not done with whatever it is you're doing in an hour, then we're out. You know?
Yeah, it is. It's fairly disturbing. I mean, if that bell rings, because I've got the big church bells, and if they go off to strike the hour, people are looking and going, "Are we still here?
Right.
I mean, are we still here? Seriously?"
Really?
Yeah.
You know, let's get done. Let's get done now.
Yep. And so that bell, like Asimov's nightmare, begins to train we priests. Like, I know that, and this is funny. This is the inner workings of Father Celebrates the Mass. I know that if the quarter till bell rings and I'm not to the Agnus Dei yet, I preach too long.
Oh.
Or I need to, I need to move a little more quickly a pace. Otherwise, I start to get the looks, and and even priests are not completely immune from that. I have never gotten a watch tap, but the moment I get a watch tap, you can bet I'm going to call it out.
Yeah.
Oh, you go ahead.
I would.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. So I think that reclaiming some of the devotional life of the parish is very much an opportunity where not only can a parish come more alive, but it can begin to minister to those sheep, if you will, who maybe have a wound and they're not quite ready to come into the paddock,
Yeah.
And I think that really could be more an act of mercy than just pretending that everybody is free and clear to receive Holy Communion, And
I got to tell you that I'm a little more compassionate and understanding now than when I first became Catholic. And it's because my dear, sweet dad went to church with Mom for like a couple of years. And of course, when it came time for communion, he would sit in the pew. But he converted at the age of 81. So there's always hope.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's just great.
No matter when you come into the vineyard,
Yeah.
when the Lord calls you, you go to work, and He gives you what is just.
Yeah.
Salvation.
Amen.
That's clever.
Yeah, you like that?
Amen.
That's awesome. I think that's really, really awesome. All right. Well, you are listening to the Catholic Underground. We are moving roughshod through our show, but I think it's a wonderful thing. I'm Father Chris Decker. Got Father Ryan Humphreys over on Skype. Jeff Blackwell joins us, as does Kathleen Lee and Mary Kate Taylor. All right, we're going to move straight into the Catholic's Divorce Survival Guide to keep with a little bit of the theme. And Kathleen, you are are you our resident?
Look.
No, you're not a divorcee.
No.
You're just single.
I'm not even. I am single.
And you are available.
I am.
She is who is available.
I am. And so, but anyway, this is a really cool thing. It's a website, it's a community, it's a DVD, a group, organization program that tries to assist Catholics who are going through divorces.
Yeah.
And it looks really good. It's one of those subjects that I know is kind of, talking about not being for something.
It says right on the website. It says you're not alone. There's no such thing as Catholic divorce, but the bad news is Catholics do civilly divorce. We're there to help and encourage healing through the sacraments where you'll personally encounter Christ in all His love and tender mercies. And that's the really good news.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to put on the front of your website.
Well, I think it's something that's so prevalent, divorce nowadays. And so a lot of people need, a lot of people would rather just go and get divorced and not really be connected to the church. The church is something that they could give or take.
Yeah.
And so they give it back.
Yeah.
And they don't get an annulment. And then, they want to get married later on, and it's all this. It's just a mess.
And it becomes a mess.
Right.
Yeah.
So this program looks really, really good. Just there's you can get it for your parish, or you can also get it on an individual basis, and it comes with a lot of things like some DVDs, some workbooks, just some stuff, some resources that you can use. And that's what I love. I was talking to somebody about something else, but what I love about what we say at Catholic Community Radio is that when you listen to Catholic radio, when you listen to this podcast.
Not our program, of course, but other programs. Yeah.
But it's something that you can listen to, even our program on a good day. It's something that is really not intrusive.
Yeah, no.
You can just plug it in. You plug your earphones in. You could be walking down the street and nobody knows that you're listening to Catholics. I mean, if you want to tell people, that's awesome. But for this, if you want to learn more about what what the church says about divorce. What can you do to get an annulment? It's something that, you don't have to put out there.
Right.
That you can bring it into your home, and it really helps you get through what you're going through.
It's like in the back of the church, I have a whole series of brochures from our Sunday Visitor, and one of them is what the church teaches on annulments. And more than any other brochure, that one is the one that gets plucked. I have to reorder that one more often because everybody's always wondering. And so CatholicsDivorce.com to me seems like a really good thing, because even on the front page of their website, they have a whole bunch of common questions like, we're only separated, now what? Why do I hurt so much? I don't trust the church, and I haven't been to Mass for years. Where can I learn more about Catholicism? How do I handle my difficult ex? Help, I'm drowning in debt. These are all questions that come up, not just for a Catholic, but anybody who's going through the difficulty. And let me just say, on behalf of priests everywhere, there's not a one of us, I dare say not a one of us, who thinks for a minute that divorce isn't real. And there's not a one of us who doesn't feel great sadness because you are hurting. And I think I would like to say I could speak for every priest. Sometimes we get painted as, well, since there's no such thing as Catholic divorce, you priests don't care. No, we care more about you because we know that you're hurting. Right. Yeah. So this is a really neat. And so this is, you can get it for start a parish group. You can go through it on your own.
Yeah. And on the website, you can find a parish group. In fact,
that's neat.
I typed in our zip code, and there's one here in Baton Rouge. That's, one of our churches here in Baton Rouge is doing it. So this is great. I think it's excellent. What I love about our church is that, when people always say that we just say, you can't get divorced and that's it. Mm-hmm. What our church says is no. This is why we teach what we teach, and this is really that in action.
Yeah.
Not just some encyclical that's stored away, but the teachings of the church put into practice and made accessible. So I think it's really cool.
That's really neat. Before we get to our personal picks of the week, we also have an organization and one more product to recommend, kind of like CatholicsDivorce.com. There's a really neat confraternity. Now, Father, confraternities are something that went out with the bathwater, and thankfully, they're back.
Yeah, they're basically just spiritual organizations that you have kind of a perfunctory membership in. So you enroll in them. They generally require some specific prayers to be done daily or weekly, and they have specific spiritual promises that are given usually by the Holy See, and they're connected typically with some kind of particular kind of spiritual devotion. So a Holy Name Society would be at a parish organization, and that's a group of parishioners that just want to see spiritual events funded. You might have a confraternity of Christian mothers. You might have a confraternity like the Blue Army that wants to encourage the rosary. Mm-hmm. You might have a confraternity of altar boys. The Children of Mary is a confraternity of young women. And so it's a broad kind of category of people. And the Angelic Warfare Confraternity, as Jeff is going to tell us, was reestablished by the Dominicans.
Oh, I am, huh? Because I was just telling Father, I had heard, I didn't realize these were called confraternities.
Yeah. Well, we call them parish groups now because they're not connected with, as Father Ryan was saying, the benefits of being instituted by an organization that is then connected with some spiritual benefits by the Holy Father or the major of a religious order or something like that.
So I know there is a website.
Yep.
Angelic Warfare Confraternity.
.org.
.org. Okay.
Yep.
It is an apostolate of the Dominican Friars, as Father Ryan said.
Yep.
But can you enlighten us, Father Ryan?
That's right. You have to join.
Yeah, in fact, I'm one of the people that has been deputed to enroll people, because you have to be deputed formally by the Eastern Province Dominicans, because they're the only ones that have the authority.
Okay.
But it was established originally by St. Thomas Aquinas 800 years ago, and membership requires simply being enrolled, and the enrollee promises to pray a few specific prayers daily, some Our Father's, Hail Marys, and then some specific prayers. And basically, you're praying for yourself and all the other members of the confraternity to be sexually pure, to be protected against temptations to pornography, masturbation, fornication, etc. And it's a remarkably great thing, and the Dominican friars have been having wild success with it. people who've experienced addiction to various sexual things for years, calling up and saying they've been a member of the fraternity for 6 months, a year, and they've been going cold turkey now for this long and have had no relapse, and the prayers, they just feel how powerful they are. So it's an incredibly good confraternity devoted to the angelic purity, because St. Thomas Aquinas was the angelic doctor. And so it's a fascinating group, and it's angelicwarfareconfraternity.org for more information.
Yeah, and another one that I would mention, that of which I'm a member, is the Militia Immaculata, a worldwide evangelization movement founded by St. Maximilian Kolbe, and I think we should get Jeff and all of our Catholic radio folks enrolled. And basically, it encourages total consecration to the Blessed Virgin Mary as a means of spiritual renewal for individuals and for society. So if you're 7 years old or up, you can become a member of the Militia Immaculata, as I have. And that is also another... I don't know if they would consider it a confraternity. It certainly has a papal approbation. I don't know.
It's a sodality.
It's a sodality. That's what it's called.
Very, very, very similar, but not worth getting into all the specific details.
That's
right.
What
makes it different.
But also has spiritual benefits for its members. Right. And I will tell you that these things are real. Once you join a sodality or a confraternity or an arch confraternity, and you begin praying for her members and their members start praying for you, things start happening. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So the Angelic Warfare Confraternity is one of them. Militia Immaculata is another.
Militia Immaculata.
And that's at marytown.com or consecration.com. I wonder if consecration.com is actually working. Nope, not yet. On the Feast of St. Maximilian Kolbe, apparently somebody had it on TV because they got dig affected. They right now their website's down.
Oh.
So maybe I should call them. At any rate,
hello. Your website down.
There is a new chastity series that focuses on real love as real love. Remember we said earlier in the show that we tend to kind of boil love down to emotion, just erotic love, eros. But actually, there's more to love than just erotic love. There's philios, the actual loving of another person for your mutual benefit. And then agape, right? There is this notion of laying down your life for another. Well, chastityproject.com has a lot of information here on trying to focus on, especially for young people, this notion of becoming a young disciple. And so chastity speaker Jason Everett, and I believe his wife as well, have started chastityproject.com. I bet, Kathleen, you've talked about this before.
Not this one specifically, but I've definitely talked about chastityproject.com because they're pretty legit.
Yeah. Yes. And so this is another thing, kind of like the Catholic divorce program, where you can follow this individually or you can follow it in a group and start a group in your parish. And this is a program whose goal is to represent what chastity is, the virtue of chastity. Often thought of kind of this repressive thing, this neurotic idea of sexuality, unhealthy requirements and things like that. But this emphasizes that chastity orders one's life. It helps you build your relationship with members of the opposite sex. It helps your relationship with God. And it helps you to truly cultivate what I call my favorite beatitude, because it's oriented towards the Sacred Heart. Blessed are the pure of heart, for they shall see God. So that's a really, really beautiful thing, and that's over at chastityproject.com, chastityproject.com. And Y Disciple, the letter Y, disciple.org. There's a starter kit, $120 for the boys' version, $120 for the girls' version. And if you want to move into the digital platform, maybe for your parish, it's I think $1,200 a year for that. So this is something that a parish that could really get into. And really you could begin to use this as a model for maybe some of your youth ministry, or plug it into if you have a life team program or something. That would be kind of cool.
I'm actually using it as a significant part of the sex ed program for our high schoolers.
Oh, yeah?
At St. Mary's, yeah.
Have to let me know how it goes, because we're using the Chosen program for our confirmation, but there's also like a 9th and 10th grade version of the Chosen program that includes some of the chastity and abstinence and sexual identity sort of piece. And so let me know, Father, how that goes. This is because it's very good. That's one of the things I love about 2014, where we are here in the church, is there are so many resources. In fact, I would dare say that the market is beginning to saturate with all these different resources for confirmation, for chastity, for youth ministry. And they're all very good. At least a good number of them are, at least a lot of the ones that I've seen that are available. Alrighty, folks. Well, it's that time of the program. You've managed to make it this far, so you might as well go with us another mile. It's time for
the CU Pick of the Week.
Alrighty. We've somehow made it to the CU Pick of the Week.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, Father Ryan is sneezing in the background.
I tried to push the button. It didn't happen.
Bless
okay.
you, Father Ryan.
That's all right. That's all right. We won't go to him first for the Pick of the Week. How about we go to Jeff, because you've got a lot to talk about.
Oh, I am so excited about this. Actually, Father Chris and I made a little field trip this week out to Presonus.
Yep. They're right here in the capital city of Louisiana.
Yes, and it's an international company. They really have tons of electronic type gear for studio, live sound, and musicians. So we have been eyeing some equipment, and one that came, and in fact, I don't even think it's distributed yet. It's so brand new. Is their RM series of mixers. And those of you who, even for a church, I think this is pretty neat, because there are so many presets and scenes that you can save. And this is a very affordable way to, introduce a mixer. Even though its platform, it really is stuck in the rack.
Yeah.
It's a 32-channel mixer, active integration, meaning that with Wi-Fi you can address it, Cat5, FireWire, multi-track recording. It's got so many, literal thousands of settings.
Yeah.
What they call fat channels, which basically on each input you can have compressors, reverbs, effects. Let's see.
Basically, what Jeff is trying to say, it's a big box that plugs into your rack, and you plug all of your cables into it.
Yes.
And you can use an iPad or a touchscreen monitor to control everything in that big box.
Yes, and it's truly amazing, and the price is what's just killer. And there are they also feature to tie in with this Nimbit.
Nimbit is basically like a social networking engine / storefront for your personal music or spoken word products.
Right. So I mean, if your church has like a contemporary music group, you yourself want to do some solo recording. It's all kind of like in one package, and we want to say a tip of the hat to Rick Knockvey, who is their national marketing director, and he was so cordial. He took us on a visit into their video production control room, and also they have a really cool recording studio. It's a full-blown recording studio.
They also have, I will say that everything I need to know about their corporate culture is in the signage they have in the building. The first room that we were conducted into to kind of chat a little bit was called the Cone of Silence.
Yeah.
And then the name of their big giant boardroom is called Le Boardroom.
Right.
Yeah. And they also have this big circular, I want to say it's like a listening room. And it's smack dab in the middle of their work floor. And they're just chairs sitting around it, 60s style. And there's a television in there and headsets for everybody so that they can listen, and a big giant speaker system so that they can listen to music.
Yeah.
So really neat corporate culture.
Yeah, they're just sweet people to deal with. I own some of the products
too.
Exactly.
They're not robots.
Exactly. So it's a new RM series. Check out our show notes, or just you could check it out at presonus.com and dig around. But we had a good time.
Father, have you quit sneezing long enough to tell us your pick of the week?
I think so. My pick of the week is actually very simple. The Nest thermostat is something I've talked about before. That's the kind of very cool thermostat that from the makers of the first iPhone who left Apple. And they worked with the thermostat, and the thermostat is incredibly good right now. So they decided to move forward, and now they have a smoke detector. Now, this is $100 for a smoke detector. It's a lot of money to spend on a smoke detector. But it does smoke. It does carbon monoxide. It also is a night light that automatically turns on if you're walking around your room, just so you don't trip. And also, it actually can connect several rooms together, even rooms that are not connected by space. And so it's a remarkably cool device. And on top of that, you can look and you can see very quickly because it reminds you when the batteries are low. And the best part is it has a snooze button. So if it's starts smoking, it goes, I sense smoke. And you can push the snooze button, and it basically just telling it, I'm frying bacon, leave me alone. And it's really, really smart. It's incredibly cool. And it's the next step in kind of getting the put together digital house. And so is it necessary? Not even a little bit. But for $100, you're going to spend $35 on a decent smoke detector. You're going to spend another $30 on a carbon monoxide detector. For $30 more, you're getting a pretty cool device that's going to work and connect to your Nest thermostat. So if you've already got a Nest thermostat, it's a no-brainer, but it's a really cool device, and I like it a lot.
I tell you what, Nest is really moving. They're moving at what I would consider like the Walt Disney speed.
Never be.
They are moving point by point by point, kind of building little by little by little a really good series of products, and so I really like that. Mm-hmm. Kathleen, apparently you've been watching a lot of YouTube.
I have. Maybe you are familiar with this, but this is my pick of the week. They've been around for a while, but Soul Pancake.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Soul Pancake.
Fact. SoulPancake.com.
Mm-hmm. It's actually run by an actor named Rainn Wilson of The Office.
Dwight
fame.
Schrute
yes.
fame.
And they have these really cool, just short, inspirational videos. And you may have seen the one or the couple that are out there with Kid President. This cute little boy who just says, how the world should be.
Inspirational things.
Yeah. And so they have a website, soulpancake.com, and it gives a little bit about what they're just really all about, getting positive messages out there. They're really cool. The videos are very well done. They're really fun to watch. I usually pick one or two when I'm having a bad day, and then I send them to my mom, who is also my boss. And my
who
principal.
May also be having a bad day.
Yeah. And and she shares them with the faculty. There's a lot out there about teachers. There's one that I put a link to, and it's for what is it? It's like the
20 things we should say more often.
Yes, 20 things we should say more often. And it's like, duh, why don't we do that? And Kid President, of course, puts that on. But you can check out their website. You can check out their YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very well done. I love it.
Everybody needs a pick-me-up every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
Even Jeff, who is always our breath of fresh air.
He is. Especially on Taco Tuesday.
Especially on Taco Tuesday. It's a good thing
Tuesday. Taco Tuesday. Yeah.
It's a good thing he has breath mints. Yes. Better flavor like green tea.
Green tea.
I guess it's my turn, isn't it? Is it my turn for the pick of the week?
It is.
What is it that you have picked?
I tell you what. Because we got a little bit of time, I'm going to give you 3 picks. I'm just
Whoa.
All at one time. The first one is if you're an After Effects user. Now, this is a very, very small number of people that listen to this show and watch it. After Effects, of course, is the motion graphics software by Adobe. So if you do a lot of motion graphics, I have found a YouTube channel that is really, really cool. It's called Mount MoGraph. So Mount MoGraph,
okay.
and Matt, who does these sessions on his YouTube channel, Mount MoGraph, calls them summits. And at each of these summits, he teaches you how to do something neat in Adobe After Effects. So it's basically a free tutorial for learning Adobe After Effects. So if you have shelled out the cash on After Effects and have no idea what it is, this is a really good YouTube channel for you.
Nice.
The second one is if you were a church history buff and you like analog graphics, like if you like watching the TV commercials where they're drawing things on a whiteboard, my buddy Paul Catt, who teaches Catholic school. He teaches Catholic school for Catholics. He has done a series of church history lessons that he has illustrated in his own singular fashion. And so we'll put a link to that in the show notes.
By the way, is that his real name, Paul Catt?
Paul Catalinato.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah. So you'll kind of want to call him Paul Catt. And then, of course, my other analog pick of the week is, I've talked about him before, my favorite Disney duck artist, Don Rosa.
Yes.
Someone in Great Britain has begun compiling all of his works into volumes. And so I now possess the Uncle Scrooge and Donald Duck Son of the Sun, Volume 1 of Don Rosa's art library. A lot of his comic books that he began to write and draw, they're being compiled. So if you like good art, good storytelling, something that is kid-friendly, but that will also make you happy, we'll make sure there's a link in the show notes. Of course, you'll be ordering this internationally, but I think they offer free shipping from the Book Depository. And again, it's volume 1 of the Don Rosa Library. So that's my pick of the week. That's my picks of the week, folks.
And I love that trio of picks, by the way.
Yeah.
And how about that? Show and tell on radio.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
It is, in fact, a book for those of you who are listening live. Yeah. And, of course, Kathleen, I'm the host, so I get to do as many picks of the week as I want.
Hey, okay.
She was pouting there because she had like 7, and she only gets to do the 1.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well, Jeff, we don't pout because we are always taken care of by those who not only pray for us, but also who provide for us financially.
Yes, indeed. Portions of the Catholic Underground are brought to you by audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground. That's audibletrial.com/Catholic Underground.
Oui, absolument. If you wish to find the show notes that accompany this episode, if you want to know more about what our podcast does, the fact that we're still on the air, despite all of this, you can head over to CatholicUnderground.com. You can find ways to connect with us on Twitter and Facebook, find out whenever we're live in the chat room. Father Ryan's church is online at minorbasilica.org. He is at FR Humphreys on Twitter. Thank you, Father Ryan, for joining us.
Thank you for hosting us.
Oh, I do. And, of course, Jeff Blackwell is the tech director for the CU. He's the ruling despot at the Blackwell Communications Group. Yeah. JeffBlackwell.us. And on Twitter at JeffBlackwellis. Thank you, Jeff.
It is an honor and privilege, Father.
Kathleen Lee is the Faith Ninja, and she joins us as she always does in her own inimitable style at Kathleen YABR on Twitter.
I'm there.
Totally.
There I am.
And Mary Kate Taylor is there. She moves objects with her mind. You know me. I'm Father Chris Decker. You can follow me on Twitter at Digital Catholic. You can join us on the interwebs at CatholicUnderground.tv for even more from the CU. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us on the digital continent. We are Catholic Underground. We are Faith Gone Digital. And we will see you next time.
From the Catholic Underground.
Do you want us to record a thingy? You feeling okay there, Jeff?
Yeah. I mean, this.
The Simeon was being itself?
Oh, my heavens. I cleared up one of the errors.
Yeah.
And was fine. And then when this closing break queued up,
mm-hmm.
and I was verifying to make sure all the errors were taken care of.
It started playing and firing.
No, then it said, you got another error. And it's like, so it took me forever to figure out what was going on. But anyway.
That's okay, because you did it.
I was distracted, and I apologize,
You did it, man. You did it. You did it. You did it.
Okay, so I am looking here ahead. Yeah, can y'all, and Father Ryan, you're still with us, I presume?
I'm still here.
Okay, good. But do you want to just do like a little 15-second blurb? You heard how the show open is.
Yeah, I mean, Father, is the noise okay enough, or rather, I should say, the delay enough where you think that we could just do Why Catholics Need Good Movies, a new indie film company? You know how we used to do
hopping it back and forth.
Yeah, back in the day.
Let's try.
You want to try it? Okay, because Jeff can cut that together too to remove the.
Yeah. So we're just going to read these tags.
Yeah, Jeff, would it be too much trouble for you to play back for us the intro again, just so that I can know?
Not at all. Let's see here. Let me just get that out of the way. And I haven't put it together yet with music.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Okay, let me just open this up, and I'll tell you exactly how much time you have.
It can't be that many.
Now, if we're just going to mention these 4, it shouldn't take us long at all to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, I kept getting some extraneous noises, and I think it was coming from Natchitoches.
Yeah, there was some sound of breathing.
Yeah, that happened a couple times. My mic is fairly bright.
Okay, but it sounded, it was, I don't know what it was.
Hopefully I'll have my other light in place here before too much longer.
And I was thinking perhaps it was like a, I don't know if you can hear it. I was thinking maybe it's a thunderstorm or something going on.
It sounded to me like sound of wind. Sound of wind.
Wind.
Corey Campo is, good Lord.
Some sound of screaming.
Screaming.
Okay. So,
Miss May. I have. Miss May. Well, then you need to stay in the wind somewhere else.
It's about 13 seconds. So let me play it for you.
Standing by.
There we go. And
Father Chris Decker and Father Ryan Humphreys bring you the latest technology on the next Catholic Underground.
Okay, and so would I then say, this week on the show...
You want me to go first then, evidently?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay, so I'll just go. Well, we don't have to record it in line. I just wanted to hear what it sounded like to see if I need to pick up from.
Yeah,
Okay.
on the next Catholic Underground, basically, is your cue.
Yeah.
So, you could
So,
say,
but they don't say on the next Catholic. I need to say that,
Oh, I thought.
right?
Next Catholic Underground.
Yeah, yes, he's saying that.
Oh, at the top, next Catholic Underground.
Father Chris Decker and Father Ryan Humphreys bring you the latest technology on the next Catholic Underground.
Also,
and yeah,
I'm just trying to think of what the seg there would be.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
because I want to make a complete sentence.
Right. And y'all typically talk about the we're referring because at the end he talks about the digital continent.
Yeah, sure.
Journey to the digital continent on Catholic Underground.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So on the next Catholic Underground. So you could say this week, or where we discuss, or next time will be.
Oh, on the next Catholic Underground,
Mm-hmm.
and then I insert.
See.
Okay. All right.
And we're still recording.
I got.
All right. All right, Father. Here we go.
So you're going to go first.
I will go first.
Okay.
We're talking about why Catholics need good movies.
A new indie film company is resurrecting storytelling.
Priestly celibacy, always good to talk about.
And 5 books for that Catholic mother's soul.
Beautiful.
All right.
That
you want
one's
to do
done.
1012?
I'm not. Well, 1012 is one of our perennial shows, but we can certainly do that.
Okay. Well, but
we should.
Do you still want me to?
I mean, we can still plug it. We just don't want to read everything straight down through this.
No, right. Yeah.
I'd say do that one, and then.
Do you want to just do a generic?
Good parish website.
Yeah, let's just mention what does a parish and mobile website really need, and then we'll add some kind of spiritual tag on there as well about
what does a parish or diocese website really need, and then you could say, and why should you care?
Yeah, there you go. That's perfect.
Okay. Yeah, we're essentially done. What?
No, I've got it.
Please stand by. I don't know. Mary Kate's in crisis mode of some kind. There's a crisis.
The CU stream, it is.
What? Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we're streaming on the Catholic Underground. Yeah. Yeah, I just want to make sure people who are listening on the Catholic Underground live stream, we're hearing, are hearing this.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So,
and we're glad that you are.
Yeah.
Totally behind the scenes.
But somebody said, "Is that on the radio?" And it's like, it better not be. I don't think it is.
Nope.
But no, so okay.
False alarm. Everybody stand down.
No, that's just where Mary Kate.
Pull back the missiles.
And she's.
We're at DEFCON 4 once again.
Let's just finish this up.
All right.
Yeah, there's a ball game to watch.
That's right.
No, I'm just kidding.
There's the sleeping to do.
Yeah. Let's see.
So you're just going to really do this, and then I'm going to do the bottom.
Oh, okay. This week we're talking about what a parish website needs and what a parish mobile app needs.
We're also talking about why you, the ordinary person, should care.
Okay, I was a little bit light.
Okay.
Can we get about 12 seconds? We'll be good.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Right. And anytime you're ready.
This week we're brainstorming about what a good parish or diocesan website and mobile app needs. We're going to talk about a little bit of a hibbity hop. This time, that time, zip zop zippity zay.
Yeah, shades of rapper's delight.
Going to the pool, give it up a top a day.
I like it.
Back when rap was young.
All right, from the top.
All right, this week we're going to brainstorm about what a good parish, diocesan website need. I'm going to just keep on going. This week we brainstorm about what a good parish or diocesan website should contain, also what a mobile app might look like. We're going to do an overview of what good websites look like. We might talk about what some bad websites look like, and
we're going to talk about why you should care about this kind of stuff as an ordinary Catholic on the street.
Well, that's 19 seconds. Perfect.
Good.
Superb. And then my records show we're not having a show those next 3 consecutive weeks.
Correct.
Because Italy, and I've got a solemn high mass to do on 11/2.
Yeah.
I
mean, we could conceivably do something, but
y'all can do something. I just won't be here.
Right.
All right.
We'd have to put together our own show.
Okay.
You got to do it on your own.
Absolutely. Yes.
You want to do 11/9?
You mean 11/2?
11/9. I mean, do you want us to do the?
I feel like we're early for that.
Okay,
cool.
So is 2 cool?
Yeah,
perfect. It's
all
good.
right.
It's good.
To all of you in Radio Land, Godspeed.
Good night and good luck.
Good night, Father.
I don't have it.
I got a great week.
Say good night,
Father. Let's see here. There we are.
From the Catholic Underground.